the mission of making sure that there were political consequences for politicians who pushed voter suppression. In short, if you're a politician trying to make it harder to vote, we're going to make it harder for you to get reelected. Now, right now, some of you have two questions. First, wait, who is this guy up on stage? And second, is voter suppression really the biggest thing we need to fight right now? I'm going to start by answering the first question briefly for just a minute. I'm that guy, as Chairman said, I'm that guy who ran for Senate in Missouri last year and had the ad where I was blindfolded and I was for background checks and I put the rifle together, right? People are like, oh yeah, that guy. That's right, that's right. Well look, that's all people remember. I lost that election, but in a red state that Donald Trump carried by 19 points, I lost by less than 3. And 220,000 folks who voted for Donald Trump also voted for me. I've run statewide twice in Missouri. And the first time, I won on the same day, running for Secretary of State, I won on the same day that President Obama lost the state by almost 10. So I've always substantially outperformed the top of the ticket. And the thing is, I've always done it exactly the same way. I've gone out and honestly told people what I was about, and I've made my argument. That is what Democrats need to do. Yeah. I was more progressive than the state. They knew that, but I got more votes from Trump voters than any Democrat in a competitive Senate race anywhere in the country because they knew that I was telling them what I honestly believed. They knew that I had an F rating from the NRA, right? They knew that. They knew. But in a very pro-gun state, I outperformed every Democrat on the ballot, including even our candidate for governor who was endorsed by the NRA, because I was making my argument. I was running, they were running ads against me about my support for Obamacare. They were running ads against me about the fact that I've been for single payer since 2009 before it was cool, but none of that... my campaign because what voters cared about is that I was telling them what I believed and I was making an argument that I truly believed in and I thought was in the best interest of all of them. I was making my argument. And now I'm making my argument across the country. The Democrats need to do everything we can to fight voter suppression because it's wrong. Yeah. Shortly after I was elected Secretary of State in Missouri in 2012, I learned the story of Walthall Moore. Walthall Moore was the first black state representative in the history of my state. He was elected 96 years ago from St. Louis. And that would have been a huge accomplishment by itself, a crowning career accomplishment. But Representative Moore, he was going to our capital, Jefferson City, to try and improve access to higher education for black Missourians. And even though every one of his colleagues was white, he convinced them to create Lincoln University to do exactly that. And his colleagues were so impressed at his work that they promptly gerrymandered him right out of the legislature at the end of that session, at the end of that term. But here's the thing. After a couple of years at home, he picked out one of those good old boys that had voted to get rid of his voice, get rid of his vote, and he ran against him, and he won. He said, "You're going to take away my vote? I'm going to take away your job." Because look, folks might say that things have changed, that things are different now, but they haven't changed enough. Black elected officials are routinely redistricted into the same districts. Hispanic citizens are regularly pushed off the voter rolls because of their last name. Older Americans are having to jump through hoops upon hoops to get paperwork that they don't need in any other part of their life just to vote. Students, like here in New Hampshire, are being attacked for where they live here most of the time. They pay rent, they pay tuition. But they don't vote the way the folks here like, so they want to keep them from voting. And then working Americans, poor working Americans, are being made to take off work, to stand in line, to get an ID that they don't need for another part of their life, all because the Republicans don't like the way they vote. It's wrong, and we're going to stand up to it. We've already had this argument in America. American heroes faced down dogs and hoses and batons to march across a bridge in Selma for the simple idea that we all count, that we all get to vote. It is sickening that they're trying to go back, force us back across that metaphorical bridge. It is disgraceful. It was un-American when they stopped folks from voting then, and it is un-American now. When it comes to photo ID laws, when it comes to trying to make people jump through these extra hoops, get an ID that they don't need for any other part of their life, pay money to do it, take time off work, which costs them money. That was a poll tax then, and it's a poll tax now. After Wisconsin passed one of the most extreme photo ID law in the entire country, last year they saw their turnout be the lowest it's been in 20 years. Election officials in the state say, unsurprisingly, that the turnout was the most depressed in the parts of Wisconsin with the highest poverty, where people would have the hardest time complying with the requirements. There were countless heartbreaking stories of people who didn't get the chance to vote. A 99-year-old man got on his bicycle and rode down to the building, his polling place where he was going to vote, the same building where he actually reads to kindergartners once a week. He presented his photo ID from being faculty at the University of Wisconsin. This is a building where he reads to kindergartners once a week. You know, every one of those poll workers probably saw his face and called him out by his first name. He knew it. And he wasn't allowed to vote. In North Carolina, an 86-year-old woman went to the DMV to get an ID, but she didn't need any other part of her life. She just needed it to vote. But she couldn't prove her maiden name, so she was turned away. How many thousands upon thousands of cases like that were there last year that we don't even know about?
Enough!
Too many. Anybody involved in public service should be disappointed at the least when the President of the United States thanks people and celebrates low voter turnout and says, and I quote, "That was the big thing, so thank you to the African American community." Look, we can have, and we will have, partisan differences. But we all, Republican, Democrat, Independent, everybody ought to be able to agree that every eligible voter in this country deserves the opportunity to cast a ballot.